Hi there. I'm Bruce Maples, publisher of Forward Kentucky, and I'm here today to help you with learning how to use a bill sheet from BillTrack50. You may have been given access to it. You may have seen it on a web page. Maybe you were sent a link, or maybe you're part of an organization that has a bill sheet of its own and you want to know how to use it. So this video is about 10 minutes long and it shows you how you can get all the good stuff out of a bill sheet. Okay, so here we are looking at a regular bill sheet. You can see at the top it has a name, and then you can see various columns. There are columns off the screen to the right, so you can scroll over there and scroll back. What does this show? Well, it tells us that it shows certain bills that meet all the criteria for this particular bill sheet. So in this case, this is all bills. So all bills that are filed in Frankfurt for a session are showing in this bill sheet. And in the lower right, you can see that that right now is 612. These update every night, so that number will change. You can scroll through them, obviously, using your mouse or your keypad or whatever. You can also sort. So I can sort you sort by clicking a column header. So if I click the column header, you can see that it sorts like this. Now you might think, well, okay, so I want to see how many have crossed over, so I might sort by bill progress. And yes, you could do that. So here are all the ones that are crossed over. You scroll down in committee, so on and so forth. But an easier way to do this would be to filter the columns. So let's go back to sorting by bill number. And let's go to the bill progress column header. And you'll see over to the right a hamburger menu. So you click on that and you get a filter choice. So what are the various choices for this? So you can do contains, not contains, equals, not equals, starts with, ends with. So let's suppose that I put in the word cross, which is going to get my crossover bills. You'll notice that it is instantaneous. As soon as you start typing, it starts filtering. So here is my bill progress column filtered on cross, so crossed over. And at the lower right, you can see it tells me that out of all my bills, there are 30 that are in that status. And by the way, just so that you're clear, let me show you what those statuses are. There is crossed over, there is introduced, there is in committee, there is signed and enacted, veto overridden, so on and so forth. So let's suppose that we wanted to filter on two different things. So let's look over here at filed names. So out of all the names of the bills, I'm going to go into my filtering and I'm going to say, well, it contains revenue. So I'll put in the word revenue. And here are the ones that contain the word revenue in the filed name. So that's helpful. But let's suppose that instead I want to also find bills that contain the word appropriations. I could also be looking for appropriated. So I'm only going to type a couple of letters or some of the letters of appropriations. And there's only one bill that has revenue and appropria in the title. However, I can do an or, and I could say how many bills have either the word revenue or the word appropriations or appropriated in their title. And that's 45, which is very much different. Let's clear this by clicking the reset filter. And let's talk about the bill progress column like I was talking about a second ago. As I said, you can sort it and you get all the different bills that are in each status. So crossed over, in committee, a lot of in committee that haven't moved yet. Introduced, they're not even assigned to a committee yet. We scroll down far enough and we will eventually see some more statuses. A lot of introduced bills. Some that are signed and enacted, some that were veto overridden. So that's nice, but that's an awful lot of scrolling. So let's do something different. Let's group. So right here at the top is a row above the column headers, and it says drag here to set row groups. So I'm going to take bill progress and I'm going to simply drop it into that row header above the row headers. So it groups the bills by bill progress. So now I can see that there are 30 that are crossed over, 2 veto overridden, and so on and so forth. So if I expand this, the bill progress column has now become the controlling column for the sorting. So now if I open this, it's all the crossed over bills. Before they were sorted by bill number, so now they're crossed over group and then sorted by bill number. So there's 30 of those. If we look at the veto overridden, of course, there's only the two redistricting bills. What's interesting is I can also subgroup. So I can take action date, for instance. When did the last action on this bill happen? Drop it in there as well. And so now the controlling column is bill progress, and the next controlling column is action date. So if I look at my at my crossed overs, here are the days that the bills were recorded as crossing over. So let's suppose, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to click on action date. Let's suppose that I want to see what crossed over on the 26th. Well, here are the bills that crossed over on the 26th. And finally, I can reorder these. I can drag this one over here, and now action date becomes the controlling column, and the controlling group column, and bill progress becomes the secondary column. To get rid of those, just click this, and we're back to the bill numbers. So the last thing that you would want to be able to do is to open a row to click on the data. So here's the file name. You could, open up the column like this, like you would in an Excel spreadsheet, but that's sort of wasteful of screen space. So what you would rather do is click on this, and it opens the row. You click on any cell, and it opens the row so you can read the text. You can then close the row, and this is not intuitive, by clicking the spacebar. So spacebar, clicking opens it, spacebar closes it. So let's look at this filed summary for appropriations, the budget bill. I can click on it, and there's all the text. Oh, that's a lot of text. So maybe I don't want to do it that way. Well, over here to the left, you will notice that the bill number is a link. It does not take you to the LRC page. There's another column for that. It takes you to the BillTrack page for the bill. So if I click on that, it takes us to, eventually, the BillTrack page. So here is the BillTrack page, which I find much more useful than the LRC page. So here's the bill summary, and the subject and sponsors and so on and so forth. This is BillTrack's idea of what subjects this falls under. And finally, there is the official document if you want to go read it. There is also then bill text, so you can read the entire bill right here. There is actions, what actions have been taken on this, and it comes normally sorted by reverse date. So the last action on House Bill 1 was in the Senate. It went to the Appropriations and Revenue Committee on the 24th. You can see what the votes were for it. It's only had one vote, one final vote. That's all it tracks, by the way, is final votes. It doesn't count earlier readings. So it passed in the House 85-8 with looks like 6 passes or whatever, and it passed on January the 20th. And finally, documents. It has all the various documents that you would see at the LRC site. Now, it opens this in a new tab, so when you're done looking at it, you just go up here and close that tab, and you are back to your bill sheet. So that's how to use a bill sheet. Let me point out one last thing, and that is down here to the left, which is the map button. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's kind of cool. What's that for? Well, you need to remember that BillTrack is a national company with customers in every state. And so some national organizations or regional organizations will sign up for bills from multiple states, and then they can go in and filter and say, okay, how many revenue bills are there in each state? Since we only have access to Kentucky, if you click the map thing, you get, here's how many bills there are in Kentucky, 612. But that doesn't help you much because you don't see anybody else's bills. So that's what that's for. It's not really useful for us. If you have any questions, you are welcome to email me at bruce@forwardky.com, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.